Welcome to a Teenage Dream Education, where each week I'll be your subject teacher in whatever subject I feel like choosing. It's kind of like a free-for-all here. One week we can be doing English, one week we're not going to do math. I don't have anything to say about maths. It could be literally anything, and they could be presented a bit more in the style of Teenage Dream, which is what this is kind of the spiritual successor to, in how we're looking at facts, information, history, all different types. This is higher learning. This is higher learning with Saint, but that's not what the show is called. So today we're in like a media, like sociology module, whatever. This is like an all-star performance of me in a seminar because today I want to talk about BKChat. Because I was just outside and I'm like, why do we need BKChat in 2025? And what is its purpose? What is its function? From a sociological perspective, why on earth is BKChat like back? And initially I was like, yeah, this is like a recession indicator. But I guess if we just get straight to it, like, what does this say about 2025? What does it say about online culture from when BKChat was king? What did BKChat in its heyday of, like, let's say 2016 to like 2019, what culture did BKChat both reflect and speak to, and how might society be evolving to where with this Ginger J situation we're thinking about what does this new iteration of BKChat represent and reflect back about 2025 and where we're at from where we were maybe a few years ago, and how we as the audience might speak back to it or speak of it. BKChat really is a it's low-key Black British history, particularly from a cultural perspective. I think if you think beyond the subject matter and like the mess of it all, and you think about it for what it is, it's a platform that completely pioneered on the online space. And I think much of this is due to the nature of the show and what they made it. It was a production. It was a franchise at one point. And I think treated the show as a pseudo TV show in terms of production, but then taking from reality TV with doing things like reunions and then an entire reality show itself. And I think it was an ingenious idea to cater to Black British audiences that might consume reality TV and actually filling that gap that a Black British reality TV scene could occupy, and do it completely independently. A lot of the things that you see, for example, Snapchat's kind of like a proto-Zeus network, complementary. You see that model and how it works in America. A lot of those things, Black British creators, well, particularly in this, but I think they're called Trend Central, and can be seen as very ahead of the curve, to the likes of which we don't really see anymore today. And I think that connects directly to the evolution of, I'm just going to say society, but then also how internet and digital reality kind of has its own sociological framework in the way that it works. And I think what I'm trying to say by this is the way in which, for example, we discourse online. And I think now with short form content, easily digestible content, it has made us a lot more, I'm just going to say like the way we consume has become a bit more like swine consumption, a bit like pigs. And I think that directly links with societal discourse and online discourse, the way we discourse things, why we discourse things, how two opposing sides might resolve that difference. And obviously that in and of itself is reflective of the times we live in now, where we're seeing a lot more partisan division. And partisan is basically how we refer to this like two-party way of thinking. So it's Labour and Conservative. And I mean, like, I don't think it necessarily applies to just two states, but it's you're either that or that. And I think ultimately anything that is put out that is a literal representation of reality, however produced it may be, it still acts as a mirror. And I think all media and everything is a bit of a mirror. And what you might see in that mirror, everything is a mirror looking back at us. So even this video, doing basically like a cultural retrospective on BKChat, and it reflects how people around me may feel, and it represents how we feel as a collective towards things like BKChat, and then in extension everything in society. And that's what BKChat does. They discuss topics based on a prompt that through the means of debate and discussion, I'll give them that, and through the means of debate and discussion, we get a good representation of how Black Britain is thinking and the different nuances of that. But it's also where context of the debate, it's where those different viewpoints in life and different perspectives and different understandings can interact. And I think what could and what a lot of the times did is come out some very, very fruitful discourse. And I'll give like some examples of the questions you might have is, what would you do if your daughter got pregnant? Sorry. Do you pay on the first date? So, okay, it'll be, let me give a good one. There might be one about like, oh, if your daughter was trans, like, what would you do? Or like, girl had a higher body count than you, what you do? Okay, there'll be like questions about religion, but like, they were like insightful at the least. Like, they're still insightful, even if they are talking about like, oh, like, if your girl only lets you hit like once a month, like, what should you do? It's still insightful conversation, do you get what I mean? And it's still insightful representation to how, you know, Black people might view religion or sex or gender or all these things. And I think that's something obviously I particularly care about as someone who's done sociology and tries to find academic literature that is representative of like Black British society. And there's nothing there. So I think that's what the real worth in BKChat was. I did obviously say previously about, as also from like an online perspective and part of digital culture and history, I think BKChat is excellent history and how it fills a gap that television companies here clearly don't want to do. And I think that desire for like reality TV. And that's why and how BKChat has ultimately turned into a form of entertainment. Even in its original run, seeing its evolution. And then like when the well-adjusted or like kind of like screwed on like cast members would leave, and then who they would be and the type of people they would be replaced with, it completely reflects where we were going as a society. And arguably, even though I've talked about like the cultural and sociological significance of something like BKChat, I don't think the creators, I don't think Andy was sitting here being like, let me like let me like make sociological history, do you get what I mean? I think he was like, yeah, let's entertain let's entertain the Blacks. Get a group of good people together. They can have conversations about things, argue, and make moments and all of this whatnot. I'm sure that was kind of always part of the plan. And you see it in the first episode that aired with Honey. And then like she storms out.
I want to see her parents and propose to her.
You was reciting. Let me just tell you, you was reciting.
No. Can I tell you? It's not finished. It's not finished. Because, do you know, I'm not going to have someone telling me I was a side chick when I wasn't a side chick. I was not a side chick. So do not try shit to me. You don't know me. Don't try shit.
And was she ever seen again? I can't remember if she was ever seen again. But arguably what we remember from BKChat was also the cultural memes and the moments. The first I'm going to name is not even on the show, when Biscuit was rubbing his mum's bum. What were you doing when you were 21?
21, Esther. Popping baby. Yes, I was. I was popping a baby. I popped a beautiful baby. Don't try that with me. Don't fucking try that with me. Because I will drag you on this floor. Don't fuck with me and don't talk about my child. Do not fuck with me. Do you understand? Don't fuck with me. It's alright. Honestly. Why are you bringing my child in this shit? You've got a fucking loose mouth. Sort it out. You've got a loose mouth. Shut the fuck up.
When Max and Gogo were fighting. And then Nunu. Her saying about, yeah, she would let her man eat her out on her reds. Like,
if a guy licks me out when I'm on my period, I'll respect him more.
Hey, chop the bottle out of your face, bruv. Are you mad? Like, bruv, what are you talking about, bruv? Nah, fuck that.
Can you taste your own blood? Can you put your hand in there and lick your blood?
It is the foul element.
Can I say that's what like took BKChat like really over the edge? Nunu was like Kenya Moore.
People think they have me figured out, but I'm always the wild card.
She was like the Kenya Moore. And the digital virality of BKChat as a core element of it is big success. But somewhere, I don't even want to say it just lost its way. I just stopped watching. I think it was kind of when it like it was like it's Glee season 4 where like they started bringing, like it was predominantly new people. And I think it was the season where the girl where she like said, haha, your mom's dead. Your mom's dead.
Oh, look at your mum. Where is she? Not here. Oh, is your mum dead? Oh, sorry. I said it. What? Do something. I said it. What?
I think it was there where I was just like, this isn't doing anything in terms of the conversations that they're having. You generally have people there who have no ability to actually critically think about something, barring their own perspective, not even think critically about, but all they can do is represent their perspective. That's when you lost your way. And sadly, in this cultural climate we live in, that's what people are after. And I think because a lot of what BKChat is a pseudo-reality TV show, borrows those elements where it now becomes very personality focused. And the discourse and the conversations that they're having aren't really actually that important, nor likely anyone in the room. Well, hey, let me not say that, but it certainly felt like you were watching just people argue. But it certainly felt more about watching the people in the room, the dynamics between them, and what they represent and might say, and how that might become like an inflammatory situation. That's what BKChat became. And I think very much like a reality TV show, when you have a show has its original cast or its golden age, as those key members start to leave the show and they have to now replace it, it's always going to weird the vibe. It's always going to just kind of make a show a bit weird. And I think that's a big reason to why a lot of the cast left, especially again ones with their heads on a little bit. And then the new people that you're putting on are just there and they don't meet a certain criteria. But it's a bit like how in the film industry, like directors are being told by studios, like, yeah, you have to look at their Instagram following. Yeah, like just get influencers and people that are gonna keep the audience going. That's when I got off the BKChat boat. I think it did still continue, and then that's when they started doing like things like, oh my gosh, blue therapy. That was they tried to do other things, and I think that worked. Long form content, I think it's on its way back. Long form content is not really popular content, and easy to digest stuff becomes what we want. And I think what this has made us become is very reactive people. You see how this intersects with politics in the role it plays now with, again, elections and party politics and who is being influenced by what. But just on a societal level, I think it's making us very like intolerant to each other. And we've really like set the bar at, yeah, let's just figure out a way to tolerate each other, and then that's enough. And I think because that is such a low bar, no one wants to commit to it. No one wants to commit to it. So it means how the internet and online discourse operates in and has a real social effect. And I think you can look at things like just think about, and I hate using this word, but again, it's a social indicator, how woke the internet was like at the end of the 2010s. We were making hashtag Me Too, hashtag Black Lives. We were making changes and everyone was falling in line. But the minute the pandemic came, the pendulum, and I don't even want to see as a pendulum that has to be swinging back and forth. We want to break the wheel, but we are going back. And I think this is extended at the very least to respectability politics. And I don't want to say politically correctness, because I actually don't believe in, I think political correctness is a problem. Not in the way that my man wanting to say the M-word will think of that as political correctness. I think political correctness and how we're communicating and just expressing ourselves and what we think, because I feel like I'm just throwing shade at myself. But I think how we are able to articulate and express what we believe and why we believe, and this segues perfectly back to BKChat, is reflecting this ability for anyone to just say anything. And I think with how online culture and society works, in how, yeah, you can be anyone you want to on the internet. And you can form an economy on this. You could form a small nation on this app. So it's more just about, like, it's not even about who has something to say. It's about who's got something to say that people will listen to. that people will listen to. And in the sense that, yeah, bring your audience. Like, let's just get an audience. Let's just pack them up. Like, let's just... And that is how a lot of, like, black entertainment can feel. Even though I do advocate that sadly, a lot of this stuff has an audience and it does speak to and about someone. And oh my God, I have not even talked about Twitter. I've not even talked about Twitter and how it's a marker of a lot of discourse. And again, I think that's why Black Twitter and BKChat had a very special relationship. In a way that... Can I say this? Can I say this? It's a bit like how we are with Love Island. Yeah. It's a bit how like we are with Love Island. Again, again, this is kind of a cultural retrospective, so I have to kind of give credit where credit is due. But I think a lot of people's relationship with Twitter is very different. I think one thing that did it again, Elon Musk, and how you can like a tweet about one thing and your timeline will be flooded with it. Imagine you like one tweet about immigration, yeah? Open up a new account, do it yourself, because but I also feel like no one wants to say anything anymore. No one wants to say anything anymore. Like, so you can jump on me and you can say this or da 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 da. And I don't think that's all the way like fully accurate, because some people you do need to go on Twitter and say something so you can definitely get whacked. And I think TikTok is definitely emerging as like this new discourse signifier. Well, honestly, I think especially what's like kind of, especially with more viral content, can be more reactive content, both by the creator and the liker or the commenter or whoever. So I think the very act of speaking on the internet, it has lost its meaning. So how does a BKChat in 2025 function in the same way it used to? In a way that isn't a bastardization. It's like it's jumping the shark. Do you get what I mean? But it's jumping the shark and it's going to a good place, which is money, clicks, views, all of that. What is the purpose? And if not purpose, what is the danger of having this? Because I don't even want to get into the Ginger Nash situation, because I'm just like, this is what we are now. This is what we are as a society. Like, you need to... It's sensationalism. That's what you got to do, and it's worked. And we bought into it. But I'm just like... And I know the whole thing is it outs people with problematic beliefs, reflects how problematic beliefs might exist within our community, and a sobering reflection of like, yeah, this is the world we live in right now. Is this what's going to speak to us and actually influence a lot of things? We were at the back of the bus in year 9 talking about eating out on your reds because of BKChat. BKChat could be a lot of people's like social awakening, and that doesn't mean they think critically, but they're conscious of these things and they have a perspective on it, or they start to develop a perspective, and that's what's beautiful about it. But even the kiddie baps now, that's not the way that's not the way they've been raised, or that's not the way they're going. They're being told how to think because they can't read. They can't read. So why is this the way you have to stand out in a digital age? And that's not even a question directed at why we have a BKChat, but that's a question that I think every creator has to think about. Every creative and anyone who has something to say in a media landscape and has something, unfortunately, and this is where you have to be self-aware and have like something of that, you have something of worth to say, that you're actually educated on the topic. There's people that a lot of these things that they're talking about, people study these things. Do you get what I mean? And that's not saying we need to have like some like professor or but just like read a book, basically. Go out there and learn something. These people don't even do that. They don't even do that. They just kind of show their ass a little bit. And again, that's kind of part of the show's, part of the show's formula. It's kind of, and that's why I appreciate it, because it's a microcosm of like, yeah, you are someone in that room. You identify with someone in that room. You identify with someone in that room and you understand it and you feel like, yeah, that's probably what it was like for me. I think particularly with how they maybe treat the younger lot, but I think particularly how they treat Adrian, because he was like, he was another, like, if Nunu was, if Nunu was Kenya Moore, he was like Portia. No, that's an insult. I might have to switch them. And I think how he was, and this is such a tangent, whatever. I don't care. Welcome to higher education. And I think you definitely saw that like masculinity dynamic playing in front of you with the conflict between Lucas and Adrian, and how tense it would get, and how often you're just like, actually, like, this guy's just articulating himself and you have a problem.
Do you know why I'm shouting at you? Because I will really get active on you. I'll really get active on you. I swear to God. I swear to God.
And that's not saying that Adrian was without fault, but that's part of the value of these things. But in a time where we have the general population and the younger generation looking to be represented and are being influenced by online personalities that are designed, curated to thrive in a algorithmic viral culture, why do we have to hear what some of these people have to say? It's because they've been contracted by reform. But is this really going to help people? Because I don't even want to get into like the fact of like, okay, like, why would you platform a platform J? Why his views are unacceptable? Because people think like that. Before, in 2018, you saw Lucas getting whacked for saying about how, like, whatever, something about the woman or whatever, saying something like with a misogynistic undertone. You saw how he was treated in the room and online, and you knew, yeah, I need to put those thoughts in the closet. Nowadays, you don't have to. What can we do to combat that? I think that's entirely our BKChat scope right as of now. And it's also why I think it's a consumption thing as well. And I think it's something that people online desperately need to know. Please, like, exercise some control over what you watch. You don't like something, you highlight that thing and you click, I am not interested. You don't click on the tweet to read the comments. You don't check the quote tweets. You don't do any of that. That's not how the internet works anymore. If you want to maintain your sanity, and not only maintain your sanity, but if you actually just want to make sure that you're being an individual person, you need to exercise some control over your media consumption. You don't like this? Get out of there. Because if not, if you engage, you will be which is why I say no one should interact with this. No one should engage with the content. That's why I don't want to sit here and make a video about Ginger Minge, and I don't want to do that. I don't because no one cares. But I think it goes back to the thing about combating. If BKChat, or I think this is how any media platform should be thinking, if you're not going to at least try to combat something, don't make shit worse. Don't make things worse, because, oh my God, the discourse and the clips that we could be seeing could pose a threat to the Black community. The clips and the content that will be flooding our screens. Look what you people did with Love Island USA. It is going to flood our scenes, and it is going to be like the crack epidemic. I wish this is something we could hee ha la ha ha about at the end. No. 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 Because, like, I'm going to say this. BKChat birthed the UK's Natalie Nunn. Think about all the other, and I'm not going to be doing the connecting the dots. You do that. Think about all the people that BKChat has launched in a positive way. In a positive way. I think I would speak highly of everyone in those first 2 seasons. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 onwards. I don't know. I can't vouch for everyone. But think about the type of people this could be. If BKChat can birth the UK's Natalie Nunn, and that's a complimentary statement, think about what it can birth in the Black community. Think about Ginger Minge right now. Think about what we have yet to hear. No. 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 No.